Alright. Just waiting on the stream to go, and my microphone wasn't working. Not quite sure why. Probably because I was plugging it in and out a lot, messing with it earlier. Must have done something, but it's working now. And now I have to recap what just happened in the last hour. So the first thing is that in general, I'm gonna start doing a quick little recap at the beginning of these. And I had actually already done this, but I did a recap of yesterday's video. So let me pull that up real quick. These new M1 MacBooks are crazy. Okay, I'd already deleted the earlier one on Facebook. I don't know where that went on YouTube, but let's go over this video from yesterday as quick as possible. So we have Circle.so. This is a new community platform, I guess they're calling it. And it's not exactly a social media at all, but it kind of replaces Facebook groups, or how a lot of companies are using them. So for example, the future uses the Facebook as their pro group. So they have a private group on there. Once you pay the membership to the pro group, then they have to manually go in there and add you to the private group or secret group. And I know a lot of communities that are doing this. There's some really good things about it, but there's also a lot of bad things. For example, a lot of people don't even have a Facebook or use a Facebook intentionally because they don't like Facebook, because either like political or ethical reasons. There's alternatives. A lot of people use like a private Slack channel or a private Discord. This is basically going to take that and, I don't know, maybe Discord and Slack are right for you, but I never saw myself using one of those as like the home of a private community. I really like forums, but they're kind of technical and not very much fun to maintain. So this is pretty much everything. It's pretty amazing to me. So the future is going to be adopting this. I went through and I was just trying to learn everything that I could about it. I was looking through the product hunt a little bit. They were #1 on product hunt a few months back. Well, I really like a lot of the things they're doing, so I kind of like to break down their sign-up flow and how they do it. So originally I was just screenshotting it, but then I was like, I'll just live stream this and I'll have the entire thing. So they take you through these questions, this little survey, maybe 4 or 5 questions, and it brings you to this. It's kind of a webinar that is a demo of the product. That's about half an hour long. I didn't really do much with it because as he was going over what he was going to go over, basically it looked like right before the Q&A they're going to talk about integrations, and that is the main thing that I'm interested in. I think probably all the other stuff's pretty basic. So I skipped to the integration part of the video. Towards the end, they say that everything runs with Zapier, which seemed kind of strange to me because technically like everything should work with Zapier, but I didn't know that they actually have their own Zapier integration. Circle does. So there should be an easy way to tie all of these things together with it. That makes it pretty powerful. They also do single sign-ons with WordPress and Teachable, which is pretty awesome. Once I realized that, I could kind of see where this was starting to go. And so you can create your own subgroups, great with the rest of your tools. So then it gets to this widget part where he's showing the different types of widgets, and that's what I thought was the coolest part about this product. So at first I saw it as just kind of like a documentation site, right? Like it looks pretty similar to Notion even. Like you could probably do a lot of this in Notion, you'd think. As far as like the actual the post itself, maybe not the whole discussion, but as far as like providing content and different pages or channels, like that's pretty simple. But there's this embed that they do, and it brings up the website in a modal window on top of your website. So imagine, I think I pulled up Intercom as an example. Yeah, so you guys have seen Intercom before. It's this little, my picture or my video is covering it right here in the bottom lower right, but it's usually this little circle. It might be the brand color of a little chat box. You'll click on it and it'll bring up like a customer service. And there's a lot of things they can do. They can have support articles that they link to and automation, all that stuff. But it reminds me a lot of Intercom, what Intercom was doing. It kind of revolutionized a lot of things. So Circle has basically decided to do that, except when you click the lower right button, instead of bringing up a chat box for support, it brings up a whole community and social media app and forum within it. So that is pretty crazy. They have a couple other widgets that you can just like do the topic embeds, or actually embed it on the page. But I'm really stoked about this modal feature where it comes up in a modal window. If you guys hear a ruckus going on in the back, it's the Christmas tree getting decorated. It's that time of year, you know. Okay, so we were messing with the embeds for a while, and then I just completed the whole sign up flow. Went through, created a bonsai circle, started messing with all the different default settings and whatnot. Okay, so let's go back to, where was that? Okay, let's go back to the screenshot. So when I was looking through their knowledge base, this was under integrating with WordPress SSO, and I was reading this article. Something down here struck me. It says, these members won't have to sign up or log in with their Circle account. Instead, they'll use WordPress credentials and access Circle from your login page. So that's when it really started to blow my mind, because I'm realizing that, here, I'll pull up my Facebook real quick. So I have this plugin called Newsfeed Eradicator. It just completely eliminates my newsfeed on the homepage, which really helps me focus, and it usually replaces it with something inspirational, because getting lost in the news feed is the whole danger of using Facebook. And so that helps me. I pretty much unsubscribe to anything that's not productive, and I use it mostly for business. So when I come here, I have the Future Pro members right here at the top of my shortcuts. This is probably my most used one. I have a couple other groups, but I actually pay for this one, and a decent amount of money, so it's valuable. And there's like 300 or 400 members in here. We all pay for it, and so everyone values it, right? You value what you pay for. So that is like the home of this pro community, and there's a lot of these types of communities that are doing this. Like another one I can think of is Matt Workman's company, Cinematography DB. They have like a virtual production group that is very active. There's tons of these groups, these Facebook groups, and basically they'll link to other things. So I might go visit the Future Pro group. I might visit 3 to 5 times a day, whereas the Future's website and their LMS, I might visit that once a week if we're lucky, twice maybe. And this flips it on its head. So Facebook used to be the home for these communities, whereas their website was kind of like an appendage. And now this flips it, so your website becomes the home, and the social media discussion community part of it becomes an appendage that's on top of it. So that has some major implications. That's crazy. Like, this changes everything for Bonsai and what it could be, more than a learning management system. Think about that. Alright, so that's mostly what this video was about yesterday. I completed creating a Bonsai circle, went through a bunch of features and settings, set up topics, discussions. I booted up the Future's private beta website, and I practiced putting the embed on it. It was pretty easy. I just put the community one in, the generic one that's in the lower right, and it was working so well. I was skeptical. I wanted to push it to staging to actually run like a performance test on it. So I did that. You can hear, yeah, so I verified that the performance was spot on. It didn't slow down at all, actually, as far as I know. And it might just by like a couple milliseconds, right? And then I verified that like the animation of it popping in was really snappy and responsive. So all of that was working. Stokes me out. I verified that I could add some custom CSS to it if I wanted to within my style sheets. So if they don't have dark mode yet, then I can just easily do that myself. And yeah, I was really tired yesterday, so I cut it off. Import students from Teachable to WordPress, stuff like that. But then I ended up calling it a day. And here we are today. I didn't have my mic turned on for the first hour of my streaming, so let me recap real quick what we've covered today. Okay, we went through a couple different things about embedding. I read through some of the documentation just because I didn't want to bore you guys on a stream, but I pretty much knew all of this. It just kind of explains how you can change the slugs and where you can find them, the slugs and the topics. So you could pull up more specific things if you wanted. How do I integrate Circle WordPress SSO? So the interesting thing about this is if you want to integrate it with WordPress so that you sign in through your WordPress, I came across this. If you plan to use a custom domain, set that up first, as this will change your callback URL. Not doing this first can potentially lead to being locked out of your account. So that's something they want you to do before you set up the WordPress SSO. So I came in and I set that up. There's a whole article on it that I followed, but let's check this out. Yeah, this is going to take a couple days. So the thing is, I don't think I'm always going to be using the bonsai.jackalope. I think maybe in the future I'll be using that just for more development or like alpha or beta versions. And then the stable version of it will most likely be bonsailms.com. So I went in and on Namecheap is where my domain registrar is. I changed the DNS to point to the name servers are now pointing to DigitalOcean so that I can use that as my DNS tool. That makes sense. You got to go into Namecheap, change your name servers to point to DigitalOcean because that's where I like to do all of this management. I could do it on Namecheap if I wanted. You can do the DNS stuff over there, but I like to keep it uniform with all my projects so that they're all in the same place. And yep, so I did that in here. I set one up at Circle.jackalope.io and I got it working. It took like 10 minutes or so until it was all working correctly, which is pretty awesome. And then I realized that I didn't really want to do Circle.jackalope for now because I mean, I could probably just do it, but I'm kind of scared. Because I wouldn't want to get locked out of my account or for them to take this one because Bonsai is a pretty good one. But that being said, since you can do a custom one, it doesn't really matter. But eventually I want it to be probably something.bonsailms.com. Maybe learn or community group circle. Okay, I'm just going to change it back to Circle for now, but I'm going to have to change it in the future, and it seems like they don't want you to have to change it down the road, so we might have to redo some of these steps, whatever. I don't care. Just want to do it in a timely manner. So we'll change this back to circle.jackalope.io. Then we need to give it 5 minutes. And then after that's done, step 1, or set up Circle integration in WordPress. If you don't have an OAuth plugin yet, you can install WP OAuth or another that fits your needs. In your WordPress sidebar, navigate to OAuth server, clients, add new clients. Okay, so this is the plugin they're recommending. I'll try it with this one first. I found it on WPackagist, so we can just install it using Composer. And it's on version 3.8.1. So let me open that up in my text editor. Composer. OAuth alphabetically, that'll fall in the top of these. I think it was 3.8.1. OAuth 2 provider. Don't need to add anything else up here for now. Okay. Let's come into our site directory. We'll run Composer update. Yeah, I just noticed, I have a problem somewhere. Interesting. I just noticed Restream uses intercom right here too, so I can really picture, Circle being the new intercom in a lot of ways. Like, you might see it start popping up everywhere in the next year. Requested could not be found. It looks like the name is invalid. No, it's not. Oop, it is. There we go. Run that. Let's just make sure it was 3.8.1. Yep. Some security was also updated. Okay, that looks good. So let's log in. Take a look. We can actually just log into future.test. Let's activate this. We could also have activated it in command line, but it's nice to just visually see it sometimes. So now I should have this OAuth server down here. And Circle.jackalope.io. See if that's working now. Cool. Alright, so we're going to go to OAuth server, clients, add new. Please ensure that authorization code is checked on the left-hand side. Allow grant types, authorization code. Name your integration and then locate your Circle redirect URL URI by navigating back to Circle community settings, single sign-on. I'm gonna put this in a separate window. Okay. Okay, it's not saying to activate it yet, so name your integration, then locate your Circle redirect URI by navigating back to Circle community settings, single sign-on. You'll want to locate your callback URL in this field. Where? Circle community settings, single sign-on. Okay, it's just the OAuth provider URL right here. Okay. So this will be called WordPress redirect URL, URI, optional recommended, callback. We recommend keeping the allow members with a Circle account to sign in. Keeping, yep. You can safely sign in again with your Circle credentials. Once you paste the URL in WordPress, click Create Client, and you will be presented your custom IDs. Once you paste the URL, okay. Client credential assigned user. The client credential grant types does not have a user ID assigned to it, making it hard for an application to perform protected endpoints. The client will then have the same privileges as the selected user. Client credential grant types does not have a user ID assigned to it, making it hard for protected endpoints. So I think we just select one of the students here. Scopes can be assigned as restrict. Interesting. Okay, they didn't tell me to do that. Let's leave that for now. Copy over WordPress SSO information to Circle. Navigate back to Circle settings. Single sign-on. Select WordPress at the OAuth provider. Member space, bubble, memberful, member stack. And wonder if you do custom, if that's how you do teachable or what. We'll use this name as a suffix to continue button. The continue button, for example, we'll type WordPress if you want the button to say continue with WordPress. Client ID given to you by OAuth provider. Secret key. Okay, I'll have to change this since I'm displaying it to the world right now. WordPress URL, HTTPS, Circle. Your WordPress URL. Okay, so this would be thefuture.jackalope.io. Let me just make sure I did all that correctly before I save. Enable SSO with WordPress. Once you've saved your settings, toggle Enable SSO to on within Circle. Those two are unchecked. Huh. We recommend keeping allow members with Circle account to sign in. Allow members with Circle account to sign in. Enabled. Okay, you guys should probably do that in your screenshots then. Allow members to sign in via custom URL. Allow members to sign up via custom URL. I don't think we need to do that yet. However, members won't be able to sign up by Circle. However, you can keep the sign up button visible and point it to the custom sign up URL. If you have members that have already registered their emails with Circle, they can still sign in with those credentials using a separate sign-in button. What happens to the Circle members account? Is this toggled on? Circle members continue. After enabling SSO, members won't be able to sign up via Circle. However, you can keep the sign up button visible and point it to a custom URL. If the setup was successful, you now see the login via WordPress single sign-on option when trying to sign in under your community. Okay. I do believe that this would have to be working on the production server before we can get it to work. So let's just verify that real quick. The client credential grant types for application reform protected endpoints. The client will then have the same privileges as the selected user. I'm not quite sure what that means yet. Client can use the client ID and client secret authorize. Allows the client to request the refresh token. Allows the client to use user credentials to authorize. Allows implicit method. Authorized code must be enabled. Authorization code allows authorization code grant types for this client. This includes the implicit method. It's starting to get dark in here. Alrighty. So circle.jackalope.io. Pull it up in incognito, and then we go to login. Continue with WordPress. To access Bonsai community, you can sign in with your WordPress or Circle account. Thefuture.jackalope.io. Okay, we're gonna let's do this on staging first. So I'm gonna go back into here, and this will be sign up URL, future staging, and this will be the future staging. Save changes. Right, and then, so I don't have to do any of the settings again. I'm going to migrate the database. So I'll come and do staging, and I'll uncomment development staging. And it's just a deploy. We have the provision commented out. Let's run this. I'm just going to go back into scripts instead of site and do staging.sh. All right, let's try this again. Now that we've changed it to the staging, actually, before we even do that, let's just go make sure that our staging was done correctly. Okay, looks good. Error description, temporarily unavailable. Of course we have to do troubleshooting. That's why they already have a page dedicated to it. Not that I wanted to. Okay. All right, we got to copy the error, but let's go take a glance through they don't have suggested article of troubleshooting. Alright, how do I troubleshoot my WordPress SSO integration? While setting up your WordPress SSO integration, there are a few errors that may experience. We commonly see a 400 error. Or a temporarily unavailable error. This guide will walk you through troubleshooting the common solutions. Temporary unavailable is a message. Navigate to your WP OAuth settings page and ensure OAuth server is enabled. Settings for OAuth server enabled. So that's just supposed to fix it. Haha. Okay. Bravo. And then I can pretty much customize this page however I want. I need to figure out how to do that without a plugin. If I could just hard code it in, that would be awesome. I know there's a way somewhere. And okay, so that's working. Just before I forget, let's come into this environment, the local environment, and go to settings. OAuth server enabled. Save changes. Now we don't have to migrate a database back. Okay, now let's test it. Mason and thesis. Future-staging.jackalope WP OAuth client. Let's go back to Circle.jackalope. Sign up. Continue with WordPress. Okay. So it's a little bit buggy, but we can fix that. fact, let's test it out one more time just to be sure. I'll go to sign out of this. Okay, if I'm already signed out, or sorry, if I'm already signed in, let's test that. So if I'm signed out of the Circle and I do a login with WordPress, and I'm already signed in, then it'll just bring me right here, which is amazing. We got that up and running in one streaming session today, so I think that's pretty sweet. Now the question is, now we're not logged in, and okay, it keeps me logged in. Doesn't do a check every time. Probably does this every like few days or weeks or something. But let's say we were logged out. Let's try that again. Sign in with Circle, continue with WordPress. Page not found. So somehow we'll have to take this page or whatever and redirect it back. Because if you're already signed in and continue with WordPress, there you go. Which, if they're coming from the website, then in most cases they would be. So that's not actually a huge concern at the moment. Because in that case, it's just one click, it's already signed in. That's awesome. It's amazing. Okay, let's test out a couple more things. Let's do login, don't have an account. Okay, that brings you back to the home page. You can custom set that, and then if we have sign in with Circle, then it brings you to Circle. Amazing. Okay, we've troubleshot this. Working with a developer or a Circle expert. Advanced and customized CSS. Helps with community launches, engagement, and growth strategies. Helps with content, engagement strategies, launch plans, and more. Helps with strategic planning and brand positioning communities. Helps with migration of communities, SSO setup, and Zapier automation. Okay, I'll probably hit him up later. I don't really need to do that on the live stream, but we've got that. Looks like he's kind of like the dev help dude. So down the road we could accept sign-ons with probably Facebook, Google, whatever. But the thing I like about using WordPress is that if someone's going to use the LMS side of things, then they need to have a WordPress account anyways, like when they sign up. So that works perfectly unless we ever decide that we don't want to use the LMS on WordPress and we want to use Circle for the LMS, which could potentially be down the road if they introduce some new features that can kind of track members and their progress and stuff. I could easily see them doing that down the road. So we need to keep that in mind, but I don't think that would happen for the next 6 months to a year, possibly. Soonest. This company does move really fast, so I don't want to underestimate them, but it seems like they move really fast. Alright, so let's start making some customizations to this. So let's go into find the theme, go into the assets, styles, leaf, sensei, components. Sensei could kind of have been a component at one point, but then was moved into its complete own folder. I think actually I knew Sensei would get big enough, so it never was its own component per se. I always did it like this, but we could start Circle as a component, and then if it ever gets big enough, create its own folder structure for that. So let's create Circle.scss. Components instead of charts. I'm gonna keep that commented out because I think, yeah, I still have that. I'll be adding that one day, hopefully, when we start working on the dashboards. Circle. Yep. Circle widget trigger. Okay, we're gonna say left 20 pixels. And then right. Let's try, can we do initial? Here. Okay, we'll keep left at 20, but then we'll do right, initial. Okay, that should work. So refresh. Circle widget trigger, right 20. No, that did not get injected. Circle widget trigger. Hmm. Circle widget trigger. It's not like that's gonna do anything, I don't think. It's not even live reloading. Something's up. Components. Circle. Spelled it correctly. What is it doing? It's not reflecting any of my changes. Let's maybe reset it with, let's just reset yarn. Yarn build production. Okay. now it's working. I think Yarn was just running slow or something. This is MB5. Let's tone this down a notch so it matches the padding on the. I'm just gonna undo my camera for a minute so you guys can see that what I'm working on actually. Okay, so you see this padding on this bottom right? It's actually kind of cut off a little bit. No, never mind. So if you look in this bottom left and bottom right, I wanted those to look more even. So with MB5 is a little too big, and we do an MB4, it looks much better. So let me go make those changes real quick. Unfortunately, I think I'm duplicating this right now, so there's two of them. Let's go into views, components, or just partials, and then header. There's one in here, MB4. And then there's one under pages home. Okay, let's say that looks really good. I'm not sure, I'll probably change either this lower left button to purple or this lower right button to purple, but there's just too many green brand buttons in the corners, I think, at the moment. Okay. For now, I'm going to leave the CSS as it is because I haven't even looked into that for dark mode yet. There might be a cleaner way of doing that than writing my own CSS on top of it. And that way it'd be universal on both domains. Even though I think you can do custom CSS, but I'm not sure if that's like a premium feature or what. It's probably limited in some ways. Let's see if this works if I'm not on the right domain. I need to make it so when you log in, this login button goes away and turns into like a menu button. I need to change the redirect on the URL. Nice. Okay, so now as long as I'm logged in on that one, it works. That's awesome. That's awesome. I'm excited to mess with different things, like I don't know, there's a lot of possibilities. Okay, let's try adding another integration just to see how it does. So go to settings. Turn my camera back on for now. Embed. Space widget using iPhone. Space. Will show the locked state. Embed the comment section of a topic to the page of your website. Using an iframe, embed the topic section, a space to your website. Private spaces will show the locked state. So what I want to do is this pop-up widget. I want to be able to specify because I mean for the comment section I can easily just like use this one, embed the topic section of the website, private spaces. Yeah, so I'd use this one for more of like a commenting feature. And I wonder if they would recommend not using this multiple times on the site in different ways. Pass in a default space slug or topic slug. So defaults, space slug, topic slug. Okay, so let's come into, we're going to use this one. And we'll come into, let's see, I wrote this down. Space. Edit space. Custom URL select. General. Okay. So it pulls up general anyways. But if I came into here, into settings, general settings, there should be a default space. Yeah, Default space for new members, default space for existing members, default space for logged out visitors. They're all the same, they're all general. We can change that if we want down the road. I'm going to create another one just for testing purposes. So let's say support. I'm going to try a different type of view. Okay. So now, let's find the head, and then we'll uncomment this, and the space slug will be, instead of general, we'll say support. We'll see if I can leave this empty. Seems like you probably wouldn't want to leave it empty. We'll see. Okay, that did not work. If we wanted to do a specific topic, I think we could, okay, there's no topics in here. So let's test something out. Let's go into settings, general, we'll say support, 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 save changes. Now if I refresh this, that opens the support by default. So let's come back in here and we'll do general, and within general we have a topic right here, edit topic, custom URL slug, there's the topic. Let's refresh, and if it opens general on a certain topic, then we should be doing it correctly. Nope. Okay. Support general. So that should be working. I will test that out a little bit more, but now that I'm thinking about it, I could basically, okay, let's test this out. So I'll come in to settings, embed. I'm thinking of a way that I can do this and probably even have more control and keep it cleaner. So let's say there's a topic or a space. Okay, let's try a specific topic first. And embed the comment section. Because I don't want to embed it on the page, I want it to be the modal window, but I might have a better way of doing this. Let's test this out. So I'll come to modals. I will duplicate subscribe and called it, I'll call it topic. Okay, this is the modal, dialog, content, header. So let's just do this inside the content, or I actually don't think it needs a Alright, let's just try this inside of modal body. Okay, topic slug goes here. Get rid of those brackets, or I keep those brackets, right? No, I get rid of them. And then space slug goes here. I love space slugs. They're delicious. The space slug is general. Okay, ID is aria label. ID subscribe mobile. Label say topic modal. Topic modal label. Okay, then we need a trigger for it. Something we can easily add to tests. Let's on the home page. Just do header. Let's do this bottom right button. Instead of the enroll modal, it will take the topic modal. Alright, save that. Come to the home page. Alright, something's not working. It's because I need to include it. Home page. Include this modal, so topic. We'll go into layouts, home, layouts, modals, and I will add this one, topic. Right. Alright, this should be good once it refreshes. That's awesome. Okay, and then let's say we wanted to make one of these its own modal, so let's go into, let's see, where does this come from? So home layouts, we have courses grid. I can dynamically template this later if I want to. I might just do it just static HTML for now because I'm a lot faster at that. It takes me a while to figure out the blade stuff sometimes. So yeah, let's say this this first legal kit one, I'm gonna come back into header. I'm gonna grab this stuff. So when you click on this card, there you go. I don't think I need an href, but I will if I want it to be clickable with the pointer. I could also just add in the CSS. I could say pointer because I created a shortcut for that. So topic modal. Let's just test that first before we create the new modal window. Trying to reload again. Let's see what this does. Okay, it's got this pointer now, so it should work. And there we go. So now we'll come into our modals, we'll duplicate a topic and call it space. And let's come back into Circle. We'll copy the space widget. Put this in here, and the space slug goes here, which we'll call general. Let's actually do general dash space, and then we'll create another one, and we'll call it support dash space. support. We'll come into layouts for modals. We're going to add topic. We're going to add general space and support space. Okay. Now let's go back into grid. Let's take this topic modal. Okay, so we have topic, that's fine. And then under support space, we're going to call this support space modal label, support space modal, and general. This is general space modal, and general space modal label. Okay. Support dash space, general dash space. General support. Okay. I need to change those buttons. So let's come into grid. This is general space modal. Card MX, okay. We just changed this. Instead of general space modal, this will be support space modal. Wait for this to refresh. General dash space not found. Modals, general dash space. Partials, modals, general space. Modals, general. Just a little typo. I'm just going to give this a minute to kind of refresh. Sometimes like a typo might break it for a minute. There we go. This one's a little bigger, so we'll have to change the width of the modal if we want it to be a modal. But yeah, this is all stuff in the general. And then, so that can be the general space, the space can be a course, and then each lesson can have a topic. And this should bring up the support space. There's no topics. Can you know how to create a topic from there? Post the first topic, add some members. Post the first topic. You can't do it from within there? That's weird. Notifications, chat. Okay, at least you can comment from within there. It doesn't look like you can add topics yet, but I'm sure that will come eventually. So if I click add, yeah, it'll take me to our actual circle. Okay, so a couple things to kind of clean up. One would be the width of this. I'm trying to remember where I limited that. Modal body. Modal dialog. Okay, I don't think it's in that. I think it might be in here. Max width, 500 pixels. And that's for modal dialog. What would happen if we got rid of modal dialog? Okay, seems like it doesn't need it. So we could probably come in both of these and say our topic, instead of modal dialog, let's call this, well, for now let's uncomment it and see. So where was this done? Modal dialog is under modal asset style. Oh no, that's under node. Huh, where would I put that? Let's take a look. That's the bad thing about using those extensions. Sometimes when you extend the SCSS, it won't tell you the exact location. It's kind of a doozy. Assets, styles. Modals. Modal open. Huh. Maybe that it just is in the bootstrap. I can't remember. Width 500. Amazon's coming in 1 second. Hello? Yeah, it is. Okay, I'll be right down. I'll send my right now. quick Amazon delivery. Interesting. Alright, let's keep hacking away at this. So, where is that max width coming from? Max width 500. Min width 576. Does that change if I ever make it wider? Or skinnier? That seems like something I would have written. I'm not sure how big the modal windows are by default on Bootstrap. Let's take a look. I could just use something to override it, but that gets really messy after a while if you're just overriding a bunch of stuff. Okay, live demo. That one's really skinny. Let's see if it has a max width. Okay, so we're looking at modal dialog. Max width 500. Okay, so that's correct. It's not coming from anything I wrote, but this would bring up discussing a course. So I think that would be really cool. Thing is, we'll want that width bigger. So let's see how big it needs to be. .30. Modal dialog 830. Circle. Modal dialog. Max width. Max width. 830 pixels. Important. And then let's create an ID called Circle. Circle widget. Do we have that one already? It might be. Let's take a look. So come under general space, ID, general space modal, iframe, source. Let's see if that shows up on the page. That could be some JavaScript firing. Okay, we're looking for Circle widget ID, Circle widget style sheet. Is there something just called Circle widget though? Circle widget iframe. I think that's it. Circle widget overlay, circle widget trigger, circle widget iframe, ID, circle widget iframe. Okay, let's try that. just might work. There we go. And then this. I see, because it's not actually within that. So we're gonna have to name our own. Let's see if we can just use Circle widget. I don't think that was used. Let's double check. Beautiful, it's in a reload loop. Just like my good old bug. Reload again, I dare you. Oh God. Just go away. Okay, let's try Circle widget, and then modal dialog max width. So Circle widget. Oh, we also want to change back to modal dialog because I got rid of that. I thought. No, I guess I didn't. It's still there. We're gonna do Circle widget. Save. Circle widget and save. Haha. All right. That's dope. So there's one little bug, there's a missing thing here, but I'll make sure they all have topics before, and then it'll appear correctly, so that doesn't really matter. That's awesome. So what I'll have is I'll probably eventually make a modal window where it can include all the lessons. So it'll bring up a modal with all lessons, and then there'll be an additional one to bring up the topics on top of it, like this. That will be dope. And then this one brings up comments to something specific. So then within the lessons, then I'll have smaller ones that bring up something like this. So there will be discussions for each course, and then there'll be discussions for each lesson, and then on a global level, there's just all the discussion controls right there. So that's pretty dope. I've been streaming for a few hours now because my first stream went bunk with the mic not working. So 3 hours is about what I'm aiming for per day. That way I don't get too burnt out and I can come back with excitement the next day. We've set up Circle integration in the past 2 days. We've got it all working now. I think tomorrow what I'll do is go through and actually set up all the working modal windows for these. I'll do some research to see if I can embed the actual course page itself within a modal, or if I need to hard code that separately for now and then link in the API later. But yeah, tomorrow I'm hoping, let's come in here, let's make it so you click on one of these, it brings up the lessons. Then from there you can bring up all the space discussion for the general course, or you can go into the lessons and bring up the individual comments, more like this. So I'll finish that tomorrow now that I've got this all figured out. Everything's working. We also got WordPress single sign-on working today. So you log in to Circle through your WordPress account right here, and it's just working out beautiful so far. So this is 2 days of work, or like 2 live streams, which are fairly short. I think we've made a lot of ground. So I'm gonna call it a day. We'll come back tomorrow and we'll start really buttoning this up. All right, take it easy, my friends. Have a good one.